Good evening, GMGM. It is currently 10:14 p.m., Sunday, the 10th of August, 2025. Welcome to another amazing episode of Technically Speaking, which is a free weekly webinar every single Sunday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. UK time, hosted by myself, Fadlan, aka Ninja T, one of the founders of Blockchain Sensei. We are a crypto and financial literacy education and consultation company. And you can join this free webinar by going to blockchain.sensei on Instagram. Let me just go to our Instagram real quick. So Instagram.com/sensei. So yeah, just go to our Instagram, blockchain.sensei, click the link, and that's where you'll find this Zoom. You will find over 400 hours of free replays at youtube.com/blockchain sensei. Pardon me, tell a friend to tell a friend. First of all, sorry about the hiccups. 1 second. Let me iterate that nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I even go as far to tell people that I don't even have a university degree. I'm completely self-taught and a very passionate individual who spent thousands of hours in financial markets and studying economy, politics, etc. But you shouldn't just trust me. This is why you should always do your own research. You should have, in my opinion, 4, maybe 7, so 4 to 7 voices who you trust in this space, in the world of financial literacy and crypto, and be able to, cross-reference. If you don't have a starting point, I recommend the following people. Alexander Lorenzo. In fact, let me just drop the source. I don't like gatekeeping anything. These webinars I try to make friendly for both complete newbies and experienced veterans. So let me just quickly shout out some people who have no idea who I am because they're way bigger than me on YouTube. So Alexander Lorenzo, this guy's been consistent for a very, very long time. I've also paid for a lot of his courses. He's really good when it comes to fundamental assets in crypto and kind of long spot trades. Blockchain Backer is the best technical analyst on YouTube. He does a show every Wednesday called Markets in the Morning. It's about an hour long. In fact, let me tell you what's going to change the trajectory of your crypto AI education is if you can find creators such as myself who may not have the fanciest TikToks and the fanciest reels or the best light work, but people who can perform at least one long form content consistently. This is why I do it every Sunday, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. I do this mainly for myself, for self-discipline, and also it's a bit of charity work because I understand my services may not be accessible or within the price range of people's. In fact, I tell a lot of paid clients that most of the information that you ever, if you ever, viewer watching this, right? If you ever pay for any of my services, almost all the information that I say in one-on-ones, you can find for free at youtube.com/blockchain sensei. It's just most people don't have time, right? Most people don't have time. So I digress. Blockchain Backer does a show every single Wednesday called Markets in the Morning. It's an hour long. And also throughout the week, he drops videos. This is something that I wish I had time for, but I really don't. Alexander Lorenzo, Blockchain Backer, and for macro, Bravos Research. These guys do a lot of kind of like seasonality and historical pattern analysis. And then last but not least, the most important piece of content for my high level people, or if you're a beginner, you can still attempt to watch this content, is the latest Michael Howell. Who is Michael Howell? Michael Howell is the founder of Cross Border Capital that specialize in research in particularly liquidity. He has the latest video he did was on a platform called Milk Road. I think he's got a vested interest in this. Milk Road do a lot of publications when it comes to macroeconomics, monetary policy, etc. But This is extremely high level, but this latest content here will give you a lot of perspective in terms of where the market is going in the macro. Now, I must iterate that the majority of my human time, energy, and effort is spent monitoring macroeconomic risk. So monetary policy, geopolitics, liquidity, right? Sounds really, really boring. And then after that, I look at on-chain metrics of crypto. Then after that, I do technical analysis. It's not that you can't just jump on the charts, but I feel like it's really, really lazy just to go to TradingView and read RSIs and MACDs, etc. So, yeah, I always like to start with the macro, and then we go into crypto. So let's hit it off with. I will be completely honest with you guys. I'm not as prepared as I'd like to be because it was Manchester Carnival today, and I told myself I'd go home at 6 p.m. But I stayed at the carnival till 9:30. So I'm looking at the market with fresh eyes. I've been clocked out for maybe 24 hours, so let's see if anything's really changed. The most important person to follow on Twitter, if you're really serious, is Thomas on Markets. Every post he does is fire. Okay. Let's see, is there anything important that I can just skip through? No, nothing too interesting. Okay, so this website here, tlx.fijisolutions.net. This is a website which basically nobody talks about, but it monitors the liquidity in the Fed. Now, what do I mean by liquidity? Let me just make this beginner friendly. Liquidity is the amount of cash available in the system to invest, right? Liquidity is the number one driver of price. Injections of liquidity in at least the mid to long term result in the rise of assets, right? Particularly risk on assets, particularly crypto and stocks. A withdrawal in the global central banking and government bonds and debt issuers world, right? A reduction in that liquidity typically turns into a pullback into risk on assets because there is less money in the system to invest in risk on assets, right? Now, I repeat this time and time again. You want to try to have, one of the best things that you can do in this journey of financial literacy and becoming a better trader and investor is to be able to grow your instinct on whether the market is cooling off, as in risk off, it's super bearish, or we're choppy, we're going sideways, we're bullish, or we're ultra bullish. Remember, the market is only ever in three states. It is consolidating or trending. It's either trending upwards or trending downwards, right? Trending upwards, downwards, or consolidating. Only three modes. Every single day, as an active portfolio manager in your own life, and I advocate for spot investing and spot trading. I'm not anti-leverage, but that's not what I specialize in. I am a spot sniper, okay? I almost never short the market. I don't do futures. I don't do options. I don't do Forex. I've lost too much money in stocks. I mean, options trading, right? Almost everything I do, bar maybe 1 to 3% of the portfolio, is in leverage, right? The only thing I like to leverage is over collateralized loans. But I think that is a conversation for a private webinar. So, yeah, tlx.fijisolutions.net. This measures the liquidity in the Fed. The Fed being the American government, the American system. Remember, out of the $110 trillion liquidity pool in the world, which is approximately all the money in the world, over 50% is in US dollars. Okay, so though this isn't representative of global liquidity, which is more like M2, where we count the PBOC, the People Bank of China, and the ECB, European Central Bank, it is good to measure this. Now, we are still down from liquidity highs in the Fed of April. However, even though there is less liquidity in the system, right, in terms of just the Fed, what has the price action of, let's just say, Bitcoin been since April? 1 second. Let's go to BTC. Let's go to April. April. Yeah. So even though there's been less liquidity, the percentage appetite risk for liquidity available has risen. And where do we expect liquidity to go? We expect liquidity to rise, right? Why? Because the global debt right now sitting around 324 trillion. And please, by the way, use not just ChatGPT, but Grok. If you don't have a Twitter or X account, it is paramount that you get one and go to Grok. It is the most intelligent AI that I have found for financial literacy in the popular LLM realm. LLM realm. I can't speak. So the ECB, the European Central Bank, has already dropped interest rates. The Bank of England has dropped interest rates. China has been printing a lot, the PBOC. We can see this via the yuan versus dollar ratio. Let me see. Where are we with this pair? Come on, don't deal in it. Oh, here we are. Okay, so can see that in recent times, the Chinese yuan has been outperforming the dollar because it's been costing more dollars to buy Chinese yuan. Yeah, so PBOC, the People Bank of China, have been printing. ECB have lowered interest rates. What happens when interest rates are lowered? The appetite for risk increases because it's cheaper to borrow money. All we're doing is waiting for, and I predict it's going to be at the next FOMC meeting, which will be mid-September. I believe the market is actually pricing this in already, where interest rates will be dropped. It could be a sell the news event, but it'll be a sell the news pullback event, if so. So it is a very good time to be positioned in the market, in my opinion. If you can identify assets that are still undervalued and still haven't pumped. Yeah, so I expect this liquidity to go up. And between now and the next 2 to 3 months, so that's mid-September and Halloweenish times, liquidity to be injected, interest rates to drop, and assets to continue to rise for pretty much on a steady upwards trajectory with pullbacks between now and the end of the year. Now, please bear in mind that my consensus of what I'm saying applies to this moment in time, 27 minutes past 10 p.m., 10th of August 2025, with the information that I have presented. Always remember that any Black Swan event can happen, right? If you would have asked me, as somebody seasoned in this game, in September 2024, what I think was going to happen, I would have said Trump would get elected and the bull market's going to start in January 2025. I would have never, ever predicted, nobody predicted, that he would almost start World War III with insane tariffs. And Iran and Israel would start firing missiles at each other, right? This is a ruthless market, and I urge everyone in this game, somebody watching this, I hope in this bull market you make a lot of money. But remember, you only make a lot of money when you sell, and you have to have humbleness in yourself to not be arrogant because you made a lot of money. If you invest $10,000 somewhere in a stock or crypto that does 10x and you pull out 100,000, you're not Warren Buffett. Okay, this is a lifelong journey, And this is why financial literacy and crypto and trading and investing is one of the most interesting fields in the entire world, because nobody is a true master. I have mastered my own style and I've audited who I am and created an investing and trading thesis, which I always rejig, right? And I take calculated loss. Take calculated losses, just like I said before. Guys, you should really come to these streams live, because I do a section not recorded. I usually start recording around 10:15. But I was saying to the people off stream, a story about going in drawdown and then coming back up. So yeah, please self-audit yourself. It's very, very important in this game. What else can I see? Reverse repurchase agreement. All you got to know is that there has been a trend for the whole of the year where at the end of the month this spikes, which has an inverse relationship with liquidity. Basically, for the rest of the year, if I look at my crystal ball, I think that this trend will continue for at least the end of the year, where asset prices take a pullback towards the end of the month. It's been this way for, look at this, like every time this spikes, liquidity drains. Okay, so the fear and greed index in CNN has just touched greed very, very slightly here on CoinMarketCap. We're still in the yellow. I think this is basically the cusp of alt season, mainly sourced from this chart here, which is the Bitcoin dominance. Now, sorry, let me drink some water. So dehydrated. Okay, so what does this chart mean? Try to ignore the indicators at the bottom. Okay, so since the cold bear market at the end of 2022 when Bitcoin was 16K, although the market has been rising in terms of crypto total market cap, the percentage in which capital allocation is in Bitcoin has been increasing. As this falls, this is when all the money is going to go in altcoins. It's going to go in things such as Dogecoin, for absolute sure. Not financial advice, but I'll put my reputation on it, right? Things like Dogecoin, things like Solana, things like Sui. Okay, everything's going up at the same time, basically. The previous two times the Bitcoin dominance fell was at the start of 2021 till the end of 2022. This was basically the bull market, right? And the previous one was here. It's when Bitcoin went from, I think, like 1K all the way to 18K. Bitcoin dominance fell, altcoins rose. Okay, so this is what we're waiting for. We've had a delayed bull market, but it's coming. It's here now, right? Are you okay? I think the cat wants feeding. I'll feed you after the webinar, cat. I promise. It's called Cleo. He looks like Garfield. I know you're hungry, mate. I know you're hungry, mate. I'll feed you, don't worry. Okay, so first chart I like to have a look at is something called the SIXRE. This is a real estate company. Is it a real estate company? It's something to do with real estate in the S&P 500. And I basically just use it as one metric to see where we are in the cycle, right? The previous rise, this is pre-COVID, this is the COVID dip, and then this is the entire bull market of 2021. I'm basically looking for this kind of confluence, looking for us to break out of this range. And this, to me, will basically be indications of, we're going to Valhalla, it's time to sell. Because there will be a time to sell, right? But I don't think that time, to exit the market completely and going into a bear market is going to be at least like March 2026. I may change my consensus, but we've got a good few months, and make sure you do your research and make your plays, guys. Make your plays, because this no one really talks about it, but there is a time to be out of the market, right? They say hindsight is a bitch, but The time to be out of the market in the past half a decade was around October 2021 till around October 2022, right? Bitcoin went from 68K to 16K. Ethereum went from 4,800 down to 1,000. Meta stock went from $500 down to $100. So that was time to get out of the market. Okay. The most productive thing that anyone could have probably done if you made a lot of money in the market in 2021 was to exit and then just clock off. And that's where you can like go on holiday and stuff. This is not the time to not be paying attention to the market. Whatever you've got going on in the world, I urge you to try to push the needle of understanding what we're going through right now, which is that we are in a bull market right now, yeah, but we're about to accelerate into euphoria. Okay, let me give you guys a very, very hard lesson, a very, very important lesson. Okay, so I've said this on previous streams, but I think it's worth hearing again, and welcome those that are here for the first time, because I know people don't watch every episode. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time. Let me get some water. Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of all time, said in a legendary video at a Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting. I can't remember what year, but it's a legendary clip. And I'll paraphrase, of course, because I can't quote him word for word, but he said something along the lines of, the biggest losses in Berkshire Hathaway do not come from the balance sheet. They are the numbers in the air of hypothetical gains and actions that weren't taken. The biggest losses are acts of omission, not acts of commission. I can straight away say that I was maybe 7 to 12 decisions away from making $100 million, right? But I'm still here today grinding away. You know what I mean? Not a millionaire yet, right? But grateful that, you know, I'm able to provide and, you know what I mean, get married and do what I need to do, right? In this market, you can have 10% as much experience as me and then make 10 times more money. It is possible, right? It's unlikely, but it's possible. And this is why this is the greatest game of all time, because this game rewards risk takers, right? It also punishes risk takers because you can lose all your money like this. I've seen futures traders go from 1,000 to 7,000 down to zero. How greedy to not take $2,000 to $5,000 and put it in a long-term investing account, right? This is why I don't leverage trade, right? So this is not me finding shots at leverage traders, you know, forex traders. I love everyone. You know what I mean? I just like crypto. I look at all markets so I can have a bird's eye consensus view. And by the way, let me tell you this: the greatest show on earth that you should watch is Billions. Do you know the show Billions?
Yeah, you told me to watch it last time.
Have you watched
I
it yet?
did. I only watched one episode.
Okay, but can you see how you can learn from Bobby Axelrod?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, bird's eye view, bird's eye view. All I want to do on these webinars is share with you guys bird's eye view ideas. I want you guys to do your own research and execute accordingly. Even if execution is doing nothing at all, even if you listen to me, take a bit of information and disagree with most of what I say, you might learn something, right? So, okay, so next, let's have a look at the VT. This is a representative of global stocks. Now, I can see here on my MACD that we are getting some bullish exhaustion. So I wouldn't be surprised if the stock market took a few trillions out and consolidated throughout August before getting another pump in September. I know it's very brave of me to say, but I've done my research and this is my consensus at present moment in time. What I want to say, yes. So I'm absolutely kicking myself about this year. I'm losing sleep. I'm losing sleep over it. But there is a company that I want everyone to add to their watch list. It's very, very important. They are called Sharplink Gaming. Okay? They are one of the biggest public companies to hold Ethereum. They have don't know what percentage is that. Maybe like 1% or 0.5% of the entire Ethereum supply, right? This game rewards those who pay attention, and I just wasn't paying attention during this time. On the 21st of May, this stock was valued at $2.41. It went to $126 9 days later. That's a 54x. If you put $1,000 in the stock at the bottom, you'd be up 50 grand on a spot buy. Now, all I'm saying is this stock is still very high, is still very far from highs of 2021. It's still what number is that? It's like 100x from the January 2021 high. Now, I'm not saying it is going to go there, but if you look at this price action, can make crazy money on this stock, right? I think this stock is actually, if I'm just going to guess, I think the stock's going to clear 60% on spot on a quarter close. I'm feeling brave today. I don't usually make these calls, but I think Sharplink Gaming will close at $38, $40 plus by quarter close. Okay. I'm fortunate enough to have got a position at this over here. I'll be honest, my average price right now is like $17, $18 on this stock. Yeah, be prepared to buy things 3 times, of course. If you can't buy it 3 times, you can't afford it. Okay, where are we? So, as you can see here with the Fear and Greed Index on CoinMarketCap, on coinmarketcap.com, which is the #1 website in the world for cryptocurrency information and data. I know you shouldn't do technical analysis on fear and greed, but this is basically creating higher lows. And I do expect us to swing back to start of year highs towards the end of the year. You can blink. But let's be honest. Who would have thought, including me, Ethereum would have gone up by this fast? In hindsight, Ethereum, May, June, July, August, 4 months ago, this was the easiest financial multiplication in the world. But even me as a practitioner, where was my head here? I was quite fearful. So I was doing DCA, but could have just put literally all the dollar stacks here and would have went to the moon. But it is what it is. And the #1 thing you can do, just like I said to Tahir, who was actually my Uber driver, and we started talking about, well, he asked me what I do for a living. I said, well, I do free webinars as part of the living. And I told him, make sure if you want to invest in something, you can invest it 3 times. You can invest the same 3 times. For example, let's say you wanted to put £200 in Doge or $200, right? You should not put 200 here. You should split this in maybe 70, 60, 70, something like that. Maybe put in 60, it drops a bit, put another 70 in, it drops a bit, put another 30 in. And you'll have an average price, right? Because Doge will probably go back. Doge, it's hard to say. I don't make a prediction on Doge. Today's price is a good price as long as you're accumulating for the long term. Hey, we got Alien in the house. A second. Okay, so let me go over some picks. I know you guys want picks. What should I buy, Ninja? That's what everyone wants to ask. What should I buy? Everybody wants to ask me, what should I buy, Ninja? With how much money should I buy it with, Ninja? When should I sell it, Ninja? Are you going to tell me to sell it, exactly when to sell it, and exactly when to buy it? Unfortunately, I can't do that. Alien, how you doing, bro?
I'm all good, bro. I'm at work, though.
Oh, well, I appreciate you tuning in whilst you are doing your day job. Thank you so much. I understand, guys, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. is inconvenient for a lot of people, but it's the only time that I can promise people because I'm extremely busy. All right, so I'm gonna wrap up with a few picks, okay? And we'll leave it there. So, and then we'll do a bit of Q&A. So let's go Dogecoin. Dogecoin, in my opinion, is one of the best risk to reward ratio coins. Why? Because we are 2x. Look, guys, a lot of you guys look at people on the internet making 83,000% and dreaming of making 83,000% or 400%, whatever, right? But most of you guys have never, pardon me, have never done a 2x, a double, a 100% on an amount of money that is significant enough to improve your life. I know people who love meme coin trading, they love degen trading, but the subtotal amount of money that they've invested in mainly Solana, for example, and the amount that is returned, they are in drawdown. They've exerted life force and now they're in drawdown. They've less money than they started with, right? And these are the people, not naming names, that like to talk about, oh, I did 10x. Yeah, you did 10x on $5. Your life is exactly the same. So when I speak with heart about things like Dogecoin, I'm saying that this is one of the best risk to reward ratio returns on a long-term investment based on multiple confluences. One of them being that Dogecoin has stood the test of time. Okay, is lasted multiple market cycles. Everybody knows Dogecoin, or enough people know it, so it's in enough mind share. There is extreme liquidity provision across all centralized exchanges. Do I think Dogecoin is going to last forever? No, but do I think it's going to last at least this cycle? Yes, because money needs to flow somewhere. That's what you have to understand. It flows between real estate, gold, silver, bonds, right? Not that I want to make this into some macroeconomic lecture, in which I'm not qualified to actually do, right? I just know the basics. And I want you guys to understand the basics as well, right? Bitcoin is at all-time highs. Ethereum is at 4.2K, all-time highs 4.8K. It's going to take Ethereum a long time to get to 8.4K. Do you understand? It's going to take Bitcoin a long time. Let me say it like this, right? I'm so passionate about this. Dogecoin will go from 23 cents to 46 cents before Bitcoin goes from around 120K current price to 240K. Dogecoin will go from 23 cents at current price to 46 cents where it has been previously before, right? I believe earlier this year and definitely in the previous cycle. Dogecoin will go from 23 cents to 46 cents before Ethereum goes from 4.2K to 8.4K. All that matters is today. It doesn't matter that you own XRP, that you own Cardano, that you own even Bitcoin. It matters when you got in and what is your size, right? Take investing and trading seriously as a vehicle, as a tool, as a financial a multiplier, not an income stream, right? You need to have money already. It takes money to make money in the market. Unless you get lucky, like with Sharplink Gaming. For the most part, you won't get lucky. Basically, the reason why I get lucky, let me give you the secret. The reason why I get lucky is because I trade and invest and risk and burn because I lose money. I don't want to tell you I don't lose money. I do lose money. I take calculated risk and burn money, yeah, regularly. But I do it with a small amount of capital regularly. Does that make sense? I do trade meme coins regularly with a small amount of money and regularly burn money, but regularly make a lot of money. When I make that, I put it in long term. And I focus on macro to understand when to be risk off in mainly USDC and risk on in altcoins, right? Or Bitcoin, depending what's leading the cycle. Now, if you have not bought Bitcoin already, I don't think Bitcoin is the most lucrative investment. I think Dogecoin has the best risk reward ratio. Right. So that's enough about Dogecoin. Solana was at $280. It's still $100 away from the what do you call it? Previous cycle high. What, 252 or something like that? I think Solana has a bright future for this cycle. Now, TON is a sleeping giant. Okay, TON is about to break out of this 0.22 market dominance. This is a chart that's basically showing you the percentage of the market in TON. Right, when it was TON season, TON rose. If anybody was there during TON season, in the first half of 2024 is when the market cap went from less than 1% to more than 1% of the market share. Right, when this goes back up to 1%, 1% of the market. Let's say the market hits maybe 6 trillion during these times. 1% is 60 billion, right? Which would mean that TON still has a good, I'd say 6x. I'd like to say $50 TON, but I'm pretty confident in that mathematical calculation. If that went over your head, don't worry. You just write down that Ninja's price prediction for TON is $15 to $18. It's not financial advice, but this is what people want to hear, unfortunately. So, but if it doesn't go right, because Pavel Durov could go to jail again. TON is the Telegram blockchain. Aerodrome, been telling people for so long. I've been shilling Aerodrome for so long. You can literally see how many times I shilled Aerodrome. If you basically type in, so what is Aerodrome? Aerodrome is the biggest DEX, the biggest liquidity provider on Base Chain, which is an Ethereum layer 2 by Coinbase. So check, right? AERO, Blockchain Sensei. I've added it to the title. 1 year ago, 3 weeks ago. If you were at my stream 3 weeks ago, you could have got Aerodrome for 68 cents. You'd have done 2x. I put it in the title, the video. Right? Where's Toshi at? Yeah, up, but not as much. 48%. Come on. Yeah. Toshi is still a huge bet of mine. This is one of my big meme coin picks. Toshi. Don't just buy these things because I said as well. Like, find an entry, like, create your own plan. Yeah, Toshi has really good risk reward ratio in my opinion. I think during this cycle is a contender to go to. Let me see the market cap right now. Let me see the market. The market cap right now is at 300. Ooh, I guess it could be maturing. It's easy for me to say because I got in at a good price, but yeah, if you want a beta to Brett, Toshi, the meme coin on Base is really good. I'll tell you why. I'm gonna finish with a little thesis, right? Because I know people want exposure to meme coins. So, if you download, first of all, do not invest in Toshi if you're not willing to do what I say, because this is the basis of my thesis. Sorry, go. Hello, Ali. I can't hear you, bro. Hello. What is going on? All right. I'm gonna have to mute you, Ali, because I don't know what you're saying. Can you guys still hear me? Am I clear? Hello?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Ali, feel free to try again, mate, but I had to mute you because I didn't know what you were saying.
I said check chat,
Check chat. All right, no worries. I'll check the chat.
like Zoom chat.
Zoom chat. Zoom
Yeah,
chat.
the few coins I'm shilling to you. Zill specifically. If you look at it's oldie in it, but if
Check
you look
out.
at
All right, okay. We won't be doing that on stream, guys. I really need to go. I have my wife calling and it's urgent. So hope that was a good webinar. I'm sorry I don't have time for Q&A today. Guys, message me personally because I really need to go. I'm
Thanks,
sorry,
Mitch.
guys. I gotta log off. Wife's
Bye.
calling. Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.